Arab Proverbs says that God blinds the one who wants to lose. They say it from their faith, which is not ours, and according to which God wants to punish someone, and for that he blinds him. That is to say, he prevents him from seeing that he's going to ruin. From our faith, we will use the words of the Blessed Virgin Mary in the Magnificat: cast down from the throne the mighty and exalt the lowly. Perhaps we will even change the word mightily for the word arrogant, which seems to me to correspond more to the sense of the text, because there can be power for good, insane, as has happened, for example, in history with great saints who have been kings or queens, cast down from the throne the arrogant and exalt the humble. Why? Because the arrogant is characterized by being unable to think that he may be wrong, for being unable to make an examination of conscience and learn from his mistakes. The arrogant is himself divinized and thinks he knows everything and that he is really more than God. If he still believes in God, it could be said that the arrogant or the arrogance proudly move backwards. This reflection comes on account on the data that became known this week about the Catholic Church in Germany. Those who have apostatized from the Church, which is easy to count because they are those who have stopped paying the compulsory tax, the religious tax, which is an extra tax collected by the state, which is then given to both Catholics and Lutherans. Those who have apostatized from the Church are not less than 522,821. It is a huge number. It has already passed the 500,000 mark. We must take into account the last year, which was already a very large number. Those who apostatized were 359,388, and that means that in just 1 year, the number of those who have been voluntarily left the Church has grown by 45.4%. This is an outrage. In 1 year, the number of those who have voluntarily left the Church has increased by almost 50%. If we add to this the deceased, logically, we must add to this figure those who have entered by baptism. In total, the Catholic Church has lost 3.2% of its members, and in the year 2022, the vast majority due to voluntary apostasy, more than 500,000. It is a figure that could be enough for leaders, the bishops and the laity of the very powerful synodal path to reflect on. But since God knocks down the arrogant from the throne, and they are arrogant, they are incapable of recognizing that they are making a mistake, no matter what happens, no matter what the numbers screams. It does not matter. Their response has been immediately people are leaving because we are not sufficiently applying what the German Synod has approved. They could say that as they could say anything else. People are leaving because we don't play guitar music in church, or because we don't put more flower decorations. They could say whatever they want, but they say it is stupid. There is no other word for this. It is stupid, and I am not. It is not that I am not convinced. It is that I am sure that they are not stupid. So they deliberately did not want to recognize the reality. And why? Why is that no the cows out there put flowers, or if they put guitars? Very simple. What is happening with the Lutheran Church, with the Protestant Church? The Protestants have everything that those who still call themselves Catholic want to have. Female priesthood, acceptance of homosexual practices, acceptance of everyone who wants to go to communion, marry priests, marry homosexual priests, bishops, marry bishopess, lesbians, homosexuals. That is, they have everything. They do not deprive themselves of anything. They have even decided to abandon a kind of mixed committee with the Catholics in defense of life, against abortion and euthanasia. The Lutherans have even decided to abandon it because they are in favor of abortion and euthanasia. Well, the Lutherans who have all these things that the Catholics, those who call themselves Catholics in Germany, want to have lost 380,000 members in this 2022 year. 380,000 Lutherans from the church that has everything that the Catholic Church dreams of having have left the Lutheran Church, together with those who have died and everything else, represents a drop of 2.9% for the Lutheran Church, a figure very similar to the decrease that the Catholics have had, 3.2. The Catholics 2.9, the Lutherans 2.9. One could even say, and I think it is logical to affirm it, that is this 0.3% drop that the Catholics have had over Lutherans is due precisely to those Catholics who are disappointed in their church, not because they are not applying the synodal principles, but because they are applying them too much, and they are fed up and can no longer stand up to see what they are seeing every Sunday in many of the supposedly Catholic churches in Germany. But in any case, what cannot be said is that they are leaving the Catholic Church. They are apostatizing from the Catholic Church because the synod is not being applied, and it cannot be said because those who are applying even more than what the synod asks for are also leaving the church, in this case from the Lutheran Church. Of these pastors and very powerful German laymen, it can be said that there is no one worse blind than he who does not want to see. They are so arrogant that they proudly move backwards. This week, a book by two important Italian Vaticanists, Porphyry and Valli, has also been published in Italy. The title of the book is very significant: Rootless, Uprooted. Porphyry, one of the authors, writes in the blog of another important Vaticanist, Tosatti, and says that the following after the publication of this book, that he has written together with Valli. Valli is also Porphyry, and no less. Valli is exceptional, says Porphyry in Tossatti's blog. One thing very evident is that not a few Catholics today find themselves in a situation the French could call a dead end. That is, precisely because their firm convictions let them know that outside the church there is no salvation. They no longer feel at home. On the other hand, we believe that outside the church there is no salvation, and on the other hand, inside the church they are not at ease, they are not comfortable, and adds that the cause of this uprooting is that these Catholics persevere that this church does not seem to fulfill its mission as it is now aligned with the worldly narrative. A church that has systematically destroyed treasures of spirituality, tradition, art, that pursued a world that has lost all interest in her, uprooted, suffering greatly because they love their church and because they want to remain Catholic, but suffering because at the same time they do not feel identified with the church they love and which they want to remain. They are uprooted. Is anyone taking into account the suffering of this great number of Catholics who feel displaced from the church, sometimes even insulted by some of those in charge? Is anyone taking into account how much these people are suffering? Because it seems that no one cares about the pain that is being caused in this abyss of confusion into which the church is entering. For example, with the issue of the Synod. I am convinced, and I have already said it more than once, that neither in this October section nor in the next years, whatever is approved, it will not be put into practice. There have already been previous synods, the most recent one in the Amazon, where certain things were requested, the priesthood of Mary people, for example, and they have not been put into practice. I am convinced that they will not be put into practice neither the priesthood of women or homosexual marriage, nor the opening of communion to all those who wish to receive communion. I am convinced that they will not be put into practice in the event that they are approved. But the very fact that it has to be put to a vote, to discussion, it is even possible the churches in essential questions of dogma, of morals, of liturgy, of the sacraments may be approved by the majority. The very fact that this is put to discussion is something that puts many Catholics in suffering, and it does not seem to matter to anyone that they suffer. Let them suffer or live. That is what some seem to want. Let them suffer or live at once, and let us make this new church. But it turns out that those uprooted Catholics, as Vasily and Porphyry says, those Catholics who are suffering within the church are the majority of those who are possibly still going to Mass on Sunday, and are the majority of those who still contribute to the church, not only into collections, but in any other kind of help for any need that the church demands of them. And if those Catholics who cannot take it anymore, who are really suffering horribly without anyone caring, if those Catholics leave, who is going to pay the bills? Even those who make fun of them, insult them, every day a good couple of insults to start the day, they too will have to think that at this rate, there will be no one left even to pay for their funerals. With an increase in Germany, and this is only a quantified example, with an increase in Germany of 45.4% of runaway, of apostasies in only 1 year. The future of this new church is really very dark, but let us think beyond the number in the people, how much pain, how much suffering caused by the confusion. May God grant that those who can fix this and fix it listen to the cry of suffering of the people that goes up to God every day, asking God that if it is possible this chalice may pass. Until next week, God willing.